Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWE Raw and Smackdown review here tonight. Yeah, I sound like I'm down with a cold, which I am. I'm not down with the sickness, so no disturb. I'm not getting down with the sickness. I hate being sick right now, and I sound like fucking shit. But, you should hear my girlfriend. She sounds even worse, unfortunately. Which, if I got her sick, I do apologize. Anyway, um, so let's get into things. This week's Raw and SmackDown episodes, and yes, I'm gonna start doing Raw and SmackDown reviews on Tuesday nights after SmackDown is over. That way, I give you guys one video and one video only. Not to mention the fact that I have a life outside of wrestling, even though yes, I do watch a lot of wrestling, and yeah. Uh, let's just put it this way. Raw and SmackDown absolutely fucking suck this week. As usual, they usually do suck. There ain't nothing fucking entertaining about this shit. But why am I doing this? You guys may be asking me, why? Why would I want to continue to do reviews on modern day WWE? Well, a lot of people would say it. As my friend Matthew would say, why don't you do NXT? Well, guess what? I have a life. I'm not going to be doing reviews every fucking day. I'm not going to go ahead and do information about this. This ain't my job. This isn't my job. But do I want to provide you guys something during the week? At least one video per week. Yes. Here's this video. I'm going to also possibly do, if I feel in the mood tonight, to do a review on the Chris Jericho-Kenny Omega match. Because I did watch that on YouTube, and my God, that was a good match, which I will mention in a separate video and get into that and discuss that with you guys, at least during this week. So I will definitely get around to that at some point. But, with things being the way they are right now, with WWE's main roster bullshit, let's just put it this way. This show has no soul. It has no energy. It has no direction. It has no purpose or reasoning being on anyone's television set. Why? Simple. There is no thought put into these shows. There's none. Absolutely fucking none. It's lazy booking, lazy thought, lazy executions. I couldn't believe what SmackDown did tonight. SmackDown was horrible. Worse than Raw. I couldn't fucking believe that. And it was a 2-hour show, and you could have done something entertaining worth. But there was a fucking thing on this show for SmackDown tonight that was worth even remotely entertaining. Raw, I will give some kind of credit to. Raw did have some element of interest. But there was some major mistakes made last night on Monday Night Raw, especially for the Intercontinental title. Who should be the guy to take the title from Roman Reigns? Well, one, as I already mentioned to you guys, I did mention weeks coming on up with previous videos stating that the man that should win the Intercontinental title should, one, be on January 22nd's 25th anniversary Monday Night Raw episode, which they did right. They set up a championship match for Roman Reigns' IC Championship. And the two guys that I picked that should win the IC Championship should either be Samoa Joe or Finn Balor. Now, one of which they were in the direction of doing. That was Samoa Joe. He was a perfect guy to make as the Intercontinental Champion. Did we get that? Absolutely not. Last week, I didn't watch Raw last week because I kind of fell asleep. So yeah. I actually fell asleep because I got too fucking drunk. That's the reason why. On New Year's Day, kind of did a little opposite last week. So don't yell at me. Just kind of didn't get drunk on New Year's Eve. Went to sleep early, and then New Year's Day, I decided let's get hammered before I have to go to work tomorrow or the next day. So I went ahead and did that, and I still went to work. But off on that subject, on to the current subject at hand. and topic. Um, Look, bottom line is, it either should have been Samoa Joe or Finn Balor. They were in the direction of giving it to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe lost last week. Okay, fine. We go ahead, we move on with that. Samoa Joe could possibly move on to doing something bigger and better, which I will get into as well. That happened on Monday Night Raw. The other thing that should have happened was Finn Balor. Finn Balor is in the process during last night's Raw episode of being in the storyline leading to him possibly challenging for the Intercontinental Championship on Monday Night Raw's January 22nd episode. Are we getting that? No. Does anybody care? No. No. We're getting nothing. We had a pointless, meaningless six-man tag team match with Jason Jordan being in the midst of all of this, fucking everything up, turning it into a complete clusterfuck for the main event. And we had nothing to show for it except a meaningless main event match. That was decent, but at the same time, pointless at the same time. So, I mean, it meant nothing to me. What would have meant something to me, personally, is we got to see Finn Balor at the end of that match say, hey, Roman Reigns, you know, I got to pin your buddy, Seth Rollins. Now, how about at the January 22nd event of Monday Night Raw, I face you one-on-one for that Intercontinental Championship? Did we get that? No. Finn Balor should be the guy to beat Roman Reigns if it ain't Samoa Joe. So what do we get? January 22nd, Monday Night Raw, 25th anniversary. We're getting to see The Miz versus Roman Reigns for the IC Championship. What a fucking joke. I can't believe that they would go this fucking boring. You know, I'll put it to you this way, guys. On Monday Night Raw last night, Miz was fucking awesome with his promo. I have to give him a ton of credit. He has improved immensely with his promos. But the small problem about The Miz that I am not liking, and it ain't The Miz's fault, it's WWE's creative team. Why are they continuing to keep him in an IC championship run mode? The man has done a lot with the IC title. Especially in 2016 with Dolph Ziggler. He did an outstanding job with Dolph Ziggler for that IC championship. He did okay as he looked presentable as a Intercontinental champion to me on Monday Night Raw. Did it get any meaningful pop? Did it get anything, a big bolt of, of a kind of a thing that would make you, it stands out to you? No. But he was a decent Intercontinental champion in 2017. He was the focal point of the IC championship at the end of the day, so it had to mean something. Was there opponents that could have beaten him way earlier than Roman Reigns? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, he put on the best promos, decent matches, and was a decent performer all around, overall, in my opinion. Do I still like The Miz? Absolutely not. I don't think he's that great of a performer. But the fans are starting to get behind The Miz. You can hear it in the sound of the crowd. Memphis, Tennessee last night was horrendous. They were fucking horrible. But when The Miz came out in his segment, their attention was really on The Miz's whole entire segment. Really, to be honest with you, they were on that. Honestly, though, the Miz Taraj has got to go. That's number one. Number two, I think at this point, Miz is getting enough backing by the WWE audience. You maybe could even turn him face. But, you know what? Probably play it safe. Keep him heel. The truth of the matter is, The Miz whole segment for his portion of the show should have been about him wanting to make 2018 his mission to become the next WWE Universal or World Champion. That should be his next step and goal with his career. Not the IC Championship. He's done enough as an IC champion. There ain't nothing more he needs to do. What he needs to focus on is going after the Universal or WWE World Heavyweight title on Raw or SmackDown, depending on what show he should be on. So really at this point, it should have been The Miz making his announcement saying, me, The Miz, I'm placing myself into the Royal Rumble match. I want the world title. I want to be the best. I've done enough as IC champion. Roman Reigns can have that. I'm going on to bigger and better things. That's what should have been the focal point for The Miz's whole segment. Not about the IC championship. He's done enough as an IC champion. There's nothing more he needs to do. It's time for him to be placed in a main event picture spot and get him back to where he was at one point in 2011. He is better than what he was in 2011. He has performed and given audience, at least mic-wise, a fucking reason to believe in this guy. He has intensity. He has belief in himself. He comes across as a genuine, real character on the mic and on camera. He is unbelievable. In comparison to what he's competing against, he, in my mind, deserves to be in a world championship spot. That's just my opinion. Let me know what yours is. But let's get into the show, alright? So Monday Night Raw, we get to have Jason Jordan appear on the fucking show, acting as if he's part of the goddamn freaking Shield. He ain't part of the fucking Shield. He ain't part of anything. He just happens to be Seth Rollins' tag team partner. Who fucking gives a shit? They set up a freaking match between the Balor Club and Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Jason Jordan. As I already mentioned, the match fucking was decent, but it blowed at the same time because of Jason Jordan's distractions. So, let's see here. We go ahead, we hear about blah, 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 bullshit, like I already mentioned. We have Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Sonya and Deville and Mandy Rose. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Let me put it to you this way. Absolution is absolutely garbage. I do not get any of this shit. They're not destroying the women's division. They're destroying three specific women. Mickie James, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. 3 women that are not even competing in main event pictures in the women's division. They're doing nothing. So, point being, meaningless match, pointless bullshit. Do we even get any build to the Royal Rumble females match? No, not at all. We just keep getting this Absolution versus the women's division with 3 fucking women. Where's the rest of the women's division? Are they challenging or beating up the rest of the women's division? Absolutely not. They're focused on 3 fucking female stars. Big deal. Who cares? Move on. Thank you. The winner was Sasha Banks and Bayley picking up the victory. I did not even watch this match. Did not even care. Let's see here. Backstage from break, we see Brock Lesnar and Kane brawling last week. Blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit about that? We get Cedric Alexander having a prep talk from Goldust. Are you fucking kidding me? A prep talk from Goldust to Cedric Alexander. Anywhere at any point in time did Goldust even become a mentor to Cedric Alexander? Not that Cedric Alexander needs a mentor to begin with. Now, granted, I won't deny this. It was very entertaining seeing Goldust uh, imitating some of the classic sports movies as a trainer and whatnot. I thought that was very funny. But point being, what is the reason behind this? There's none. He just was thrown in with Goldust last week in a tag team match. Woohoo! Who gives a fucking shit? Pointless bullshit. Um, let's see what else was in this bullcrap. We had Matt Hardy, the Woken One, facing Curtis Hawkins, which he demolishes. Curtis Hawkins, I don't even understand why he's on the show. He lost, and complete utter was demolished. And Matt Hardy picked up the victory with a twist of fate. At the end of the match, we had freaking Bray Wyatt standing in the ring and Matt Hardy staring at each other having a laughing contest. Who won the laughing contest? Who gives a shit? Was any punches thrown? Absolutely not. We getting the same fucking things we were getting when we saw them on the Titantron. What's the point here? Where is this program moving forward to? Is there a war between the darkness and the light and the enlightened? That's what I would be getting at with this. Bray Wyatt's the darkened, and Matt Hardy's the woken one who's enlightened. Basically, good versus evil. Are we getting any war between these two? No, they just sound like two fucking mental cases that belong in straitjackets. Does Vince McMahon give a shit? No. Is he helping Matt Hardy's woken gimmick at all? Not really. Matt Hardy is selling the gimmick, but with Vince McMahon's placement of this gimmick against Bray Wyatt that's going nowhere, it's giving nobody's interest. There's no momentum into this gimmick. It's a good gimmick. It worked in TNA. It would work in WWE if it was used correctly. This gimmick is not being used correctly because of what Vince McMahon's doing. He's being hesitant. Why is he being hesitant when he's got only a few weeks left leading to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view? Are we going to see Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view? Are we going to see any kind of tension be built between now and then, if that's going to happen? I haven't seen anything except a bunch of blabbering bullshit and laughter between the two of the characters. So why should I be at all believing that this is a war between good and evil, except two psychopaths standing in the middle of the ring just laughing their heads off for no fucking good reason? I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, I already mentioned about the Miz WWE TV debut. The segment with the beginning segment though with Miz was an absolute joke. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, please get the fuck off television. You guys suck. They might as well both should have sucked his dick. It was so disgusting. It was fucking pitiful. They're talking about how the Miz elevated their careers. No, the Miz gave them something to do. That's all the Miz's character gave them. They have a reason to be on the WWE's main roster and be on a payroll. That's about it. Other than that, they ain't fucking shit. Their careers haven't been elevated to nothing. They're just behind Miz's coattails. That's all the fuck they're doing. And sucking that cock all the way to the bank. Basically. So let's see here. Scroll through here. We had segments with Carl Anderson and Gallows backstage telling stories about Japan, but Finn Balor says, reminiscing is great, but it's time to talk strategy, blah, blah, blah. So it was just a small segment with the Balor Club. The Cedric Alexander versus Enzo Amore for the Cruiserweight Championship was kind of shockingly good. But at the same time, a little confusing. I'm not sure if this is a work or this is actually legit, but it looks to me like the Cruiserweight title is going to be vacated. Enzo Amore either sold a really good spot with this show at the end of the match, or he is tremendously injured. Uh, First off, he had a severe cut near his eye or above his eye, and he was bleeding profusely in the middle of the match. I believe it was at one point where he got kicked in the face. I think that's where he started bleeding. The other part was the part that Cedric Alexander does a crazy flip outside the ring. His legs buckle, and then he's fucked. So that match ended with a countout with Cedric Alexander picking up the victory. We don't know yet if this is going to be if this is a work or this is a legit injury, leaving the title being vacated and more likely at some point given to Cedric Alexander through a tournament of some kind. That probably will be the case. Hopefully that isn't the case and we get to see a rematch between these two. And that's about it. Let's see here. Oh yeah. And Cesaro and Sheamus get granted a tag team championship match for the Royal Rumble against Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan. So we get that, but then we're also getting to see them in action competing against Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. You think they pick up the victory here? Easy victory. No. They lose to Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil. But yet they're still getting a championship match against fucking Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan for the Royal Rumble. Where in the hell does that make any fucking sense logically? If you go ahead and you're the number one contender going into the Royal Rumble and you're losing to a fucking nothing tag team, where do you get the right to compete for your championship belt? Where in the hell does Vince McMahon think that this is okay? Does this help Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews get back on their feet, actually start winning some matches at the tag team, and one at some point down the line this year win the tag team titles? I highly doubt it. They don't stick with nothing. They don't stick with a fucking thing that they do. They have no set plan, no goals that are ahead of them. They just go week by week by week, planning stuff out at random. You can't do that in order to have a progressive show. If you want to do things week by week by week, be like the fucking UFC. Have no storyline. Do one episode per week. Give us a fucking break with all these hours of programming, and give us championship matches every fucking week with great wrestling with no storyline, and life is wonderful. Otherwise, give us fucking logical reasoning behind what the fuck you're doing. This is ridiculous. There's no reason that Sheamus and Cesaro should have lost this match. Absolutely none. And then for them to get a championship match is beyond me. That's fucking ridiculous in itself. So, fuck that shit. That was retarded. I thought that was absolute garbage. Brock Lesnar came out. He had the same old with Paul Heyman being his voice piece. Brock Lesnar doesn't talk anymore ever since he came to WWE after UFC. And I don't know why, but it don't matter. Paul Heyman puts on good promos, but lately his promos haven't been shit. You can tell that he's not doing anything unique or different with his promos anymore for Brock Lesnar. It's the same run-on, rinse and repeat bullshit. That's all it is. So that's all there is to this. I mean, Paul Heyman's a great, voice box for Brock Lesnar. He talks a very good game. He hypes up his character very well. But after a while, it just becomes the same old run-on bullshit. There's no reason for Brock Lesnar to even be on this show until the pay-per-view happens and he competes for the world title and defends it. That's it. After the whole thing, Brock Lesnar is attacked by Braun Strowman. He's thrown into the fucking gosh darn into a wall where there's a table and a freaking crate falls on top of him and then breaks the table for some fucking reason. Apparently, the crate weighed more than Brock Lesnar for the table to break, whatever fucking reason that is. That looked like a botched load of shit. And then he attacked Kane, and Kane got his ass kicked. Got one of those. Got a box thrown at him that was made out of metal. He landed on the fucking ground, and then out of fucking nowhere, for some strange reason, he had some Batman bullshit where he slang a hook on top of the lighting crate and pulled it down on top of everybody. And really, it looked pretty cool visualized, but did it really help anything majority wise for this build to this triple threat match? Not really. Kane's pointless. Braun Strowman was looked like a retard back in September at No Mercy against Brock Lesnar, when clearly Braun Strowman looked like a fucking badass. Yeah. Anyone believes that Braun Strowman's winning the fucking Universal Championship from good old Brock Lesnar by pinning Kane is crazy. And if he does, guaranteed Brock Lesnar's getting the title back the next month. So Braun Strowman winning the title will be completely pointless in itself. So fuck that shit. Moving on here. We had Samoa Joe face Rhino. Rhino got his ass kicked. Samoa Joe wins. Pretty obvious. Smart decision. Nothing too complicated here. Right booking that was done here. Samoa Joe, though, did mention about he did say some really clever things in his promo after his match. He mentions that he is opening up the cracks and showing the weaknesses of Roman Reigns, and eventually he will beat Roman Reigns for the title. It's just a matter of time. But in the meantime, he's going to take his focus and put it on the Royal Rumble. So he puts himself in the Royal Rumble at this point. The interviewer asked him, so what are your thoughts about John Cena being in the Royal Rumble match? Well, Samoa Joe's attention then turns to John Cena. He says, well, my attitude about John Cena is the first person I'm throwing out of the Royal Rumble is going to be John Cena. So, there is a bit of a clue here that could throw you a bone that John Cena's main event opponent for WrestleMania is going to be Samoa Joe. And that's a perfect opponent for him. Number one, they've never fought each other before in a one-on-one match. I think they might have done it on Raw in the tag team match with The Miz. But other than that, I have not seen Samoa Joe actually have a one-on-one match with John Cena at any point. So them having this match would be perfect for John Cena's WrestleMania opponent. Perfect program for those two to have. So I would enjoy that. So I would definitely be happy with that. Not John Cena winning the Royal Rumble. God help us all. Why the hell would John Cena need to win a third Royal Rumble? For what reason? To get a cheap fucking 17 title win? Who fucking cares? That he'll lose in about 2 weeks. On whatever pay-per-view he competes on. So who gives a shit? Alexa Bliss playing bullshit head games with Nia Jax, acting like she's a concerned friend behind the scenes. In reality, she is a friend to Nia Jax, but in storyline-wise, Alexa Bliss is out for one thing and one thing only, to preserve her championship run as the Raw Women's Champion. She told Nia Jax some bullshit about how Asuka's talked trash about her, and Nia Jax said she doesn't speak English. I don't know what the fuck Nia Jax has been smoking, but I'd like to know what the hell it is, because I'd like to smoke it too. I've heard Asuka talk English before, and she can talk it pretty fluently. Her accent's pretty strong, but you can definitely understand the words that are coming out of her fucking mouth. So, yeah, I don't know what kind of pipe they're smoking and what shit they got in their pipe that they're smoking, but I fucking love to have some of it. Really. Just saying. It definitely ain't the ganja, I'll tell you that much. And then the main of, Nia Jax attacked Asuka after that. So, there you go. Roman Reigns, Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor versus Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. Not much to talk about. This was just a pretty standard 6-man tag team match. Nothing to cry home about. Finn Balor picked up the victory. Thank God he is in a program that's has some kind of meaning. I mean, it's not the greatest thing he's got going for him, but at least these three men have something to work with, and maybe eventually could lead to Finn Balor being a champion of the world. Maybe beating fucking Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Because we all know Roman Reigns is going to be the Universal Champion at WrestleMania 34. Can't wait to see that travesty. I mean, when we saw at WrestleMania 31, we were all shivering in our fucking boots, praying to God above that Roman Reigns would lose to Brock Lesnar, and he didn't. Unfortunately, well, at least Seth Rollins won. But at the end of the day, we got to see Roman Reigns come very, very fucking close to beating Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar looked like he was going to lose. But that was just a tease to get us all freaked out, for us to possibly have a riot at WrestleMania 31. But at the end of the day, Vince McMahon threw us a bone and gave us Seth Rollins as the new WWE World Champion. This time around, we didn't get no bone thrown at us. For 3 years, this is going to be the third year in a row, and for the third year in a row, you're guaranteed you're going to see Roman Reigns be on top of the WrestleMania main event. Guaranteed. SmackDown's going to win the Royal Rumble, but they ain't getting the fucking main event. Making the Royal Rumble mean absolutely nothing, when it should be the main event of the fucking WrestleMania show. The last match. We don't get that. That's not the traditional way we do things in WWE, apparently, for Vince McMahon. His attitude, Roman Reigns is the main event. He's the only thing that's important. Everything else can go take a shit and a walk. Well, fuck you, Vince. You're stupid. Anyway, let's move on to the Smackdown review. This Smackdown event was by far the worst Smackdown event I have ever seen in my fucking life. And I saw one a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago that was pretty fucking bad, but this one even got worse. I don't know how you can get any worse than this shit. But let's get into the results here. I did miss the first 15 minutes of the show. So the show opens up with AJ Styles being interviewed by Renee Young about his thoughts on what happened. There was also an originally announcement made that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens would compete in a 3-on-2 handicap match with Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles competing against those two. Don't really give a fuck. Becky Lynch defeated Ruby Riott. Don't give a fuck about that. Don't really care. The Bludgeon Brothers had a squash match with the Ascension. Again, don't really care. The United States Championship Tournament match, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. Who cares? This was a lame-o fucking match. It was by far the worst match out of the whole entire tournament so far. This was shit. There was no excitement to this match. Nobody was interested in the show, even. The show was a fucking dreadful, tremendously horrible fucking show. You couldn't get any worse than this. I honestly can't believe you could get any worse than this fucking show here tonight. This show was fucking garbage. I can't even get into any major detail about this show. This show was fucking shit. I just really am shocked by how horrible and lazy SmackDown was in comparison to Raw last night. Raw actually had some element of some kind of interest. This had zilch, nada, zero, not fucking one thing interest me at all. Not even the main event interest me. It was all fucking bullshit. Daniel Bryan made the announcement that the Usos would defend their tag team titles against Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin after a lame-o segment promo by Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin that was completely lazy. No heart, no drive, or any emotional attachment to what happened to them the week after, excuse me. They were the winners. Technically, if it wasn't for the referee coming out to the ring and telling the other referee that was calling the match that he made a mistake, they would have been the tag team champions. They would have had the official word that they were the new tag team champions over the Usos. But that wasn't the case. Apparently, WWE believes in fucking replays now. I hope they do that at some other event that turns out to be a shitbag event where somebody gets screwed over during a point where their foot's on the rope and the manager of the heel puts his foot off the rope and he counts to 3. Why not do something like that? That'd be kind of neat. Make things a little bit fair and a little bit more interesting. Make things actually make sense, is what WWE should do. But hey, WWE doesn't need to make sense. They're millions of dollars in the bank, and they could give a fuck less. Don't worry, Vince McMahon's got the XFL coming. He'll be further into debt and probably out of business. Hopefully he does. So yeah, Daniel Bryan's completely lost his mind here. Shane McMahon's questioning his mental stability and wondering if he has really lost his fucking mind. Between the handicap match that he's scheduled for Royal Rumble for the WWE title, with AJ defending it against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and now the 2 out of 3 Falls match for the Smackdown Tag Team titles for Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable against the Usos. So that was pretty fucking done itself. And then Breezango defeated Rusev Day with Aiden English and Rusev. They were over. The WWE audience loved Rusev and Aiden English. They still are liked by Rusev and Aiden English. But it seems to me the political agenda by WWE is to fuck over Rusev and Aiden English as a tag team or as single competitors on top of it. It's like nothing they do now, because they're so liked and beloved by the WWE audience right now, that they have won a fucking match. Since the moment they had that freaking audience pop at that Clash of Champions episode pay-per-view, they have not been they haven't gotten one win. Not one. And in English couldn't get advanced to the next round of the tournament, and fucking Rusev and Aiden English the week before couldn't even get a victory over the Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. But yet they were hot, liked by the audience, but ain't given a bone to win. I don't get it. Makes no sense to me. And then this match definitely proves it. Why would you have Breezango, whatever the fuck you want to call them, Fandango and Tyler Breeze defeating Rusev and Aiden English? Why would you do that? They're not over. They're not great. They're not anything more than a fucking load of crap that was getting their asses kicked by the Bludgeon Brothers. So who cares? There's no reason for them to have to beat Rusev Day. Rusev and Aiden English. There was no reason for this. It was pointless, and it totally destroys the credibility that the audience have on Rusev and Aiden English. I feel extremely bad for these two. They're going to go nowhere, and they're going to sink. People are going to stop caring because they're not getting what they want with these two. So Vince McMahon once again gets what he wants. Two talented performers getting the audience behind them and shitting all over them because the audience liked them, and that wasn't the reason for Aiden English and Rusev. Their purpose wasn't to be liked by the WWE audience. Yep. Vince McMahon's listening to the crowd. He's got his freaking finger on that freaking thermometer and seeing how loud the fucking crowd gets and paying attention to how much they want their stars to be superstars and winners and this and that and the other, and yet he can't even fucking get the right group of guys to win. Finn Balor's like, he ain't over. He ain't getting no championship match against Brock Lesnar. Not that it really makes a difference, because Brock Lesnar would tear him apart one-on-one, so it wouldn't be a legitimate match. But you You could always have him against Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship on January 22nd and have him win the title after he already beat fucking Seth Rollins. That would make a lot of sense. Good reason to build the story into those two competing for the IC title on January 22nd and having Miz actually care about wanting to be a world champion instead of a fucking mid-card piece of shit. No, of course they won't do that. Same difference with these two fuckers. They have freaking crowd behind them. They like them. They want them to move forward, progress. Do they get them progressing? Do they have them moving forward to any title run at any kind, or even compete for one? Absolutely not. You got a Four Corners championship match for the tag team titles, but you can't get a one-on-one match with the Usos or Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. No, 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 no. You're not good enough for that. You just happen to get lucky. The fans liked you, and now we're going to kill your fucking momentum. Have a good day. Thank you. Fuck WWE and their fucking political bullshit. Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, AJ Styles face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Main event. Typical bullshit. First off, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens left the ring, tried to get a count out. Shane McMahon came out, restarted the match. No countouts. Okay, we start the match over again. They get disqualified. Shane McMahon comes out again. Says, sorry, restart the match. No disqualifications as well. Why the fuck wouldn't he just have no countouts, no disqualification, and just have the match continue instead of having 2 minutes left over of the match and it just ends with an RKO with Randy Orton again on Sami Zayn? Where the fuck is the logic here? This is so stupid. You got to contain a limited time. You have 30 minutes. Most of it's contained in a fucking regular match. Then it's a count out. And then the other half of it, some of it is with a disqualification. Then 2 minutes left over of the match is no disqualification. And then we finally get an ending victory. What fucking shit. Like, anyone gives a fuck about what just happened tonight on Smackdown. Absolutely nobody. I guarantee you not one fucking fan gave a fuck. There ain't a freaking person in that audience that gave a flying fuck about Smackdown tonight. There was nobody cheering, no reaction outside of Aiden English and Rusev, and they didn't even get that. They couldn't even get to see the Rusev Day tag team actually get a victory over fucking Brazongo. Get the fuck out of here, man. WWE can go suck a cock. I mean, honestly, there ain't nothing here that was worth watching on SmackDown. Raw had some elements of interest to me, but majority of Raw even sucked, and I can't stand this. But I enjoy giving you guys this video. I hope you enjoyed the rant. I hope you enjoyed my view and opinion about this show. I think I emphasize a bit more on the program, the storylines that progressed throughout Raw and SmackDown tonight. And I hope I did a good job for you guys. I hope you guys got some kind of more intellectual opinion from me than just me going, oh, this match sucked, this match was okay, blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. So hit the like button if you like this video. If not, sorry about my failure here in this video. I will try to do better. If I did, hit the thumbs up and leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed to the channel right now. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys.